Yes, ma'am.
Cool. Yeah. So I want to talk about what industry expects from all of us, or from students, to be more. The people are entered the waiting room. Okay. I think you will handle that, right, Madhura? Yeah. Cool.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you so much. So, as Janisha said, I work for Siemens Financial Services Private Limited. And yeah, I have over 2 decades of experience. In these years of experience, I have not only gained a lot of insights of financial service industry, but also acquired lot of soft skills, I would say. And current moment, it is the soft skills that would be of great important to us, and great they would carry a lot of weightage in the times that we are living in and we are seeing here. So my focus is going to be more on the soft skills and what has happened in last 1.5 year, 2 years time, and how things have evolved. Yeah. So that is what I'm going to talk about. And I want to keep it very interactive. Please feel free. I know how boring it is to sit in front of the laptop, that too after lunch. Yeah. And hear someone talk and not do, we not do anything. It's very easy to get fidgety with our phones, and get onto our Instagram and other social media apps. But I would want you guys to like talk. Ria, you have something to say? Okay, she chose not to talk. Okay. Yeah. So please feel free to stop. Let's keep it. I mean, I may be coming with 28 years of experience. I may be like working in a financial service industry or something like that. It's not that won't qualify me to be an expert on whatever I talk, right? So it's just as I said, it's my experiences, it's my observations, my learnings, which I have put together. And if you have any comment to make, most welcome. Let's all like that. I mean, these interactions, the very reason why I come and talk to young generation is you guys are full of ideas, you guys are full of energy, enthusiasm, and you guys have so many new things to talk about, new things to share. I really look forward to hearing and taking those learnings back with me. I mean, be it here, be it NMMS, be it Wellinger, wherever I go, I like keep it very interactive, and I want to hear your ideas and take your inputs. Definitely they are fresh and new and innovative and out of the box. I really appreciate those kind of inputs. So I'm really looking forward to hear from you guys as well. Okay, so on that brief this thing, okay, one more thing. Janisha has spoken about the professional aspect of mine. On the personal front, I have two lovely daughters. One is, as I said, is doing her bachelor's in designing. Other one is the naughty brat and more, what I can say, can I use that? Yeah. Uh, the darling of the house, 10-year-old. She's in grade 6. So more tech savvy than I am. So she's the one who actually like helped me put all these things together. And she was actually coming and peeping and, oh, 168 participants. Oh, 100 participants. That kind of a thing was going on. So it's wonderful, like I mean, initially I was having a little bit of this thing, okay, or how do we work from home and stuff, but I think we kind of accepted this kind of work from home and scenario, and made peace with the existence. So yeah, that's a bit of a more intro on my side. I'll just quickly go to the next slide, and I have a question for you guys. Yeah. Who do you think has taken the most strategic decisions in the last 2 years? Any answers? Or maybe I can give you options also. Okay. CEOs, chief technology officers, or is it CFOs? Any ideas? I would want one of you at least to attempt, unmute yourself and give me a response. Any thoughts?
Miloni, please go ahead.
CFOs?
No, sorry. It is, here you go. Yeah, COVID-19 has taken the most strategic decisions. I mean, believe me or not, it has impacted each and every industry, each and every segment of human life, and has really, really impacted every decision, be it at home front, be it at corporate level. Every decision has been impacted by COVID-19. Yeah. So just to give you this thing, there are certain industries who felt like, they can't work offline. Online is the only way of, offline is the only way of working. I can tell you from my experience, financial services, when we talk about financial services, we believe in physical documents. I have to enter an agreement with a customer. Only then I can disburse the money to the customer. You won't believe, COVID has come, and we have moved to completely digital signing of documentation. Our invoices are going with a digital signature. Our agreements are signed digitally. Okay. All the invoices, the vendor invoices, are coming to us in digital form. Money, you know it. I mean, most of you would you all may be using already the Google Pays, Paytm. Payments are happening online. So, I mean, for us, I mean, from my experience, I can tell you, it's been a path-breaking technological journey in last 1.5 to 2 years. It's like amazing. So that's where I said, like, it's neither CEOs nor CFOs nor CTOs, but it is COVID who has taken. It is COVID who has actually taken the decisions in the last 1.5 to 2 years time. Yeah. So this not only has put everyone onto a new learning journey, but also put a lot of stress on infrastructure, IT infrastructure. I can tell you, I work for Siemens, and Siemens starting from order procurement to supply chain tracking, to order deliveries, to invoicing, payment releases. I'm talking about the Siemens industry. Everything has gone online. And it's not been easy. It's definitely not been easy for our teams. It's definitely not been easy. But yeah, it has happened. And I can give you one small example how COVID has actually impacted all our working and has taken the decisions. We have a team which actually sits in Bangalore and services various teams in Siemens. We call them as business sourcing or global business sourcing team. Okay, so typically it is a kind of a call center, I can say. So where we have hundreds and hundreds of people sitting in one office in Koramangala in Bangalore, and addressing to your bank reconciliations, your customer service issues, your payment processing, everything. And March 25th, as they have announced lockdown, immediately it has gone to a standstill. First 1 week was kind of we had no idea how to kind of work on that. How do we address, how do we make this particular sourcing unit work? Believe me not, immediately there was a task force that was formed, and all the desktops have been shifted to each employee's house. Networks have been set up, and people started working. Within 7 to 9 days, working days, they started doing that. Okay, so this is the first leg of operation that has been carried out. And Bangalore being like, little stressed on electricity supply, there were a lot of power cuts that were happening at that time. So then came the second challenge where these guys, that entire task force, what they have done is they have replaced all these desktops with laptops. Just imagine the amount of work that has gone, the amount of coordination that has gone. So that is how things have evolved. So with all these experiences in back of my head, I feel like COVID-19 is the one who has actually taken more strategic decisions in last 2 years and has taught us a lot. I mean, I definitely see this as a good learning experience. I will talk about it, I mean, in the coming slides more in detail. So I was just thinking about it like, when Madhura called me up saying what industry expects from the students. So when she said that as the topic for our discussion, I said like, okay, let's look at what all the industries that have not performed, that have performed, and what more we need to do in terms of like, merging ourselves into the industries that are performing or industries that we want to choose. Yeah. So I was just going through that, and these are the 5-6 industries I could see as the industries that have been very, very badly impacted. Yeah. So that's where I saw like I was doing a bit of reading specific to these industries, and I have seen when I talk about travel, I was looking at air, mostly airways I was looking at. Believe me, there were 43 airlines as of October 2020. 43 airlines have actually filed for bankruptcy. So that's the kind of impact the industry has, that's the kind of hit the industry has taken in terms of this COVID. Yeah. And me being European, Siemens being a European company, I was looking at data specific to Europe. So there were some 740 airlines, it seems, in Europe. Out of that, 193 airlines have already are on the way to bankruptcy. So that's like what, close to 25% or more than 25% of the airline companies have actually filed for bankruptcy. Yeah. But within this airline industry, some have really spotted the green shoots and quickly moved to that side of it, which is our cargo movement. But that happened over a period of time. But in the initial stages, say up to October 2020, there were 43 airlines which have already like filed bankruptcy. And these 193 number, which I have said, part of it are there in 43, and some are on the way to filing their bankruptcy. Yeah. So that kind of an impact this COVID has created in terms of travel industry. Yeah. When we look at airlines, and then you see immediately like, see, when the air travel is not there, the allied industries are what? Travel and tourism. When we look at those two industries, I mean, these numbers again, I mean, I gathered it's not like, I have got these numbers from somewhere. I just gathered this information so that I can share it with you guys to tell you the impact these industries have seen in last 1.5, 2 years time. Yeah. Globally, I'm just reading it out for you. Globally, 935 billions of dollar revenue of export revenue from international tourism has been wiped out during this year. How much? $935 billion. Yeah. This is more than like, 10 times the travel and tourism business have seen in the year 2009, where the economic recession has hit, the financial crisis has hit the industry. So you can imagine the amount of damage that COVID has created on travel, tourism industries. Yeah. There is a overall 72% reduction in the travel, what I can say, ticketing. 72% reduction in the ticketing. In Asia, if we see 82% of reduction in travel. Yeah. So these are the things that have impacted. And I was also reading UNWTO report, which says actually it takes 2.5 to 4 years for this industry to bounce back to 2019 levels. So that's the kind of damage, or that's the kind of impact COVID has shown on this three industries put together: travel, tourism, and airlines. Yeah. So then immediate industry, which is actually like dependent on this, or like, or very much what I can say is very much moves in tandem with these three industries, is oil and gas. Yeah. So definitely travel has impacted because of because that no one was traveling, no ticketing was happening, no one was traveling, the flights were not flying. As the airplanes were not flying, there is no need, no one is buying the oil. Yeah. So the oil consumption has dropped more than expected levels during this time. And this is a very cost intensive industry, very what I can say, cash flow run industry, which has actually seen a major impact in terms of their cash flows and in terms of their performance. Yeah. Then let's move to the hospitality industry, which again is impacted very badly. No travel, no tourism, no air flying, which has directly resulted into low occupancy in the hotels, and also, of course, the restaurants that are linked to hospitality, the food consumption that is linked to the hospitality industry and the movement of people from one place to another. So this has really seen very, very bad 2019 to 20. And of course, it is some people thought like, after wave one, it is going to be good, and we are opening up and things are looking up and things will really improve. But again, the wave two has really eaten up into this particular industry again. Yeah. So the same story, it is going to take 4 to 5 years to jump back to 2019 levels. That is the industry expectation here. So that is another thing that which has really impacted. It, I mean, malls and retail spaces, I think you guys are the best judges. There is no mall open for you guys to hang out after college. There is no movie theater that is open. All these things, like, have really seen a dip, and this has resulted into major job losses also, a major what I can say, dip in household income, major dip in the consumption patterns and stuff. Yeah. So when we talk about these gloomy pictures, we need to also look at, like, is it like see, for me, I mean, if you sit as a consumer and think about it, okay, I may not have traveled, I may not have gone and stayed in a hotel, but there are certain things which I'm continuing to do. Yeah. So like I will just take you through what are the industries that have performed well. Yeah. And how they are thriving. And the best part is, like, I want you guys to look at how they have shown their resilience and how they have kind of evolved over time. Yeah. I'll give you a few examples, but what I would do is, I would leave you guys with some inputs, so you can go and do some research on it. There is enough material on YouTube, there is enough material on Google, Wikipedia. I want you guys to read through that. So then you guys also will find, like, see, in 1 hour's time, I may not be able to give the complete picture of what is happening and what is going around. So I would sincerely request you guys to take it forward, do a bit of research, and understand what further things can be done there. Yeah. So this one, the one industry which has actually seen both ends during COVID time. Okay. Logistics, as I was talking to you in the beginning of the year, when the, what I say, lockdown has started, the industry has actually, like, supply chain industry has impacted very badly, because the production was not happening, the movement of goods was not happening. Lockdown means only essential items were being transported. Yeah. But when it comes to the manufacturing industry, the heavy engineering, these heavy chemicals, all these things which were having movement have been completely, like, stopped in the initial 2 months or 3 months of time, when complete the world, 189 countries in the world have, like, shut their doors for everything. Yeah. So that time the industry has seen very bad impact. But as time progressed, they started seeing the green shoots. Okay, there is a possibility of movement in your regular daily essentials. Yeah, there is a movement of healthcare equipment, there is a movement of your FMCG goods, and there is a movement in terms of your healthcare essentials. Yeah, not the healthcare equipment only, but also the other healthcare essentials. So these are the things which have actually given a boost to logistics industry. And now with the wave 2, many of the states in the country, what they're doing is they're only keeping the movement of goods intact, but not the people. They have put restrictions on people movement, but they have let the logistics movement intact. So that has also actually benefited the logistics industry. So that industry has performed well in terms of their cash flows. Yes, the passenger related, like, the bus services or the school buses, these kind of things have impacted. But when I'm talking about, I'm here specifically referring to the logistics piece. Yeah. So that has really improved. Online retail, I need not say, all of us sitting at home, Myntra check kar liya, Azio check kar liya, ya nahi to Nykaa check kar liya. I know for sure, like, I can share, it's a very personal information. The lipstick which I have put today, this I picked up, like, what, maybe March 2020, immediately after the lockdown has been put in place. There's this friend who actually makes these organic lipsticks, and she was like, I am opening my site, I don't know what's the timing going to be, why don't you look at it? So I said, like, and I started laughing at her, like, what a timing you have chosen to launch your company and the product specifically, like, a lipstick. So, but yeah, but that's it. Like, I have bought this stuff online. I just want to quote the example, but what she tells me is, like, there is may not be on the lipstick front, but definitely on the other products, she is definitely seeing a good turnover there. As in, like, she sells all these essential oils, face masks, uh, and then face packs. So what she says is, I'm just trying to give you, both sides of the story. What she says is, like, people are not really going to, salons and parlors, but the personal care products have really picked up uh, in online selling. And also people are definitely aware of their grooming, and with more time, less travel time and more time on hand, she has really, like, shared the insight that there is good amount of turnover that she is seeing online. So this is a positive thing, definitely, right? I mean, online retail, as I said, this is the personal experience I'm sharing again with you. I've not gone to these Mintras or Flipkarts or Amazons and seen their numbers. But this is the personal experience which I have heard from the what I can say, horse's mouth. So I'm sharing it with you. So that is something which has really, has picked up. And yes, software application, my favorite topic, and the digitalization software applications, and the way people have used technology during these pandemic times is not a small thing. Definitely not a small thing. Starting from material deliveries to tracking people movements, to tracking people's health. Everything has come to these software applications and the technology usage. So I was just looking at some of the players, and one thing which caught my attention, apart from the story which I shared of my friends, another thing which really caught my eye was this company by name Zipline. Okay, it's a US-based drone making company, and the way they have used their drones for deliveries is amazing. So initially, when they started with maybe 1 lakh medical product deliveries by the company in the US. And they have moved on to delivering pharmaceutical products to patients, medicines to hospitals. So it's like, minimizing when the lockdown was on, these are the kind of people who have actually seen opportunity and have enhanced their business. Okay, and Zipline has not only restricted to medicines delivery. Now they have also tied up with Walmart, so they can use this their technology of drone deliveries. They are looking at extending to other essential units delivery as well. So that really, like, caught my eye. And I was also looking at other these Zomatos and other online food delivery applications. So whooping, amazing numbers. Global online food delivery business is expected to reach 182 billion in the year 2024. Can you believe that? 182 billion. Yeah, so that is the thing which they are looking at in terms of that's the kind of spike they have seen in terms of usage of these applications, and that's the kind of projections they are seeing in terms of growth. Yeah. And another thing, when I talk of software applications and digitalization, as I told you in the beginning of the call, my organization itself, as I said, I'm a part of the operations team. I had the operations team in the country. And, for me, in the operations team, for me and my team, the activity begins once customer signs the physical document. Yeah, that's the loan agreement he signs. That's the time when my activity starts. Like, once I get the loan agreement signed, then the KYC, all those things have to come in order. Then only I would, like, verify the documents one-on-one physically, and then I process the document for loan disbursal. So from that level, now we have moved completely into a digital mode. So that's where I said this is one of my favorite areas or favorite topics. So digitalization, and I was, believe me, I was not expecting this kind of what I can say, adaptation to technology when we actually started in March 2020. But we have evolved so nicely, so beautifully. Now, like, on a monthly basis, we execute close to 400 agreements. Everything goes smoothly through this digital model. And one interesting fact I want to share with you all, as we are sitting here on Zoom call and talking about it, talking about what to do, what to expect. I was looking at this data. End of 2019, Zoom utilization was as good as zero. Come March 2020, the user base on Zoom has gone to 200 million. Okay, April 2020, the same number stands at 300 million. I was like, wow. I mean, like, within a month, there is like a spike on the user base of Zoom application. Yeah. And I was also looking at, like, when I asked you this question about like how is it going online learning and all these things, I have a, I had something behind my back that is on the e-learning base I was looking at. Yeah. So on the e-learning base, it was a, Mhm. Yeah, this is a 101 billion industry in 2019, and they're expecting to see the growth. E-learning industry touch a base of 370 billion by 2026. So that's the kind of, like, numbers they are looking at, and that's the kind of like activity they are looking at in terms of e-learning. So I don't know whether it's a good news or bad news for you guys. I mean, who want to go meet your friends in person, hang out with them, have that chai and samosa in the cafeteria. But yeah, these are the facts that are, like, actually coming from McKinsey's, Deloitte's, Accenture kind of companies who have actually spent time doing research on these particular industries and modes of learning. Yeah. So apart from that, we are also talking about FMCG and FMCG, to be more specific. FMCG, when we talk about, needless to say, Dettol, everyone's house may be filled with these sanitizers and hand washes, right? So all these are like manufactured by Hindustan Levers and Nestle. I mean, Hindustan Lever and Procter and Gamble of the world. So they have seen a good amount of spike in their turnovers. Basically on these specific related to these specific items. And one more interesting fact what I want to share with you all is, like, there is a globally there is a growth of 4.5% in tea consumption, and 2.3% increase in coffee consumption. So maybe, like, people like us who are sitting home maybe consumed. I was actually surprised. अरे चाय टपरीज बंद हो गए हैं, cafeterias बंद हो गए हैं, where there is more chai consumption, versus the numbers which I have seen on one of the reports is like completely different. So that's where I started thinking, maybe, yeah, I mean, sitting at home, we started consuming more coffee and tea. Yeah. And I can tell you again, interesting piece of information, personal information. I am a person who never drink coffee and tea. Okay. Thanks to my college going kid, she got me hooked on to black coffee. Okay. So my contribution is also there on the 2.3% of increase that we have seen in the coffee consumption. Yeah. So that's on the FMCG piece. And healthcare, I don't need to talk about it. The amount of work that we have seen in that space is tremendous. I can only, like, bow my head and take a salute, give a salute to those guys. Other than that, I can't do anything. The amount of work they are putting over there is superbly amazing. And that industry also has seen lot of spike. So before we go to the next this thing, yeah, I want to show you one small movie, and then maybe we have 15 more minutes, so I can just quickly share that movie with you. It's a 2-minute movie. I want you all to see that, and then I will go to my next two slides. Yeah. Yeah. I'll start it again. Hope you.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. It's a just 2-minute movie.
Ma'am, there's no audio. Anuradha ma'am,
Yeah,
there is no audio.
audio is not coming.
No. Ma'am, only
Uh,
present one tab.
huh?
Don't present the whole screen.
Ah,
Present
okay,
one
okay.
tab.
Okay. Or maybe I'll have to call my in-house tech expert.
Yeah, your daughter.
Yeah. So now you can hear?
No, ma'am.
No? Okay. Hold
While
on.
sharing, there's an option to share with audio, I guess.
Yeah, she actually taught me I'm a bad student. She actually, before we started, she did tell me.
Ma'am,
that,
stop presenting and start again. So I
yeah,
guess
I'll
that
do
time
that.
you'll get
Yeah.
on. Oh.
Where is my Zoom? I'll have to call the in-house expert in interest of time. Just give me a moment.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah?
Now it's-
Okay.
Yeah, now it's audible.
The in-house expert didn't want to show her face, so
People infected by a mysterious respiratory
Medical
virus
supply
has
shortage
more than
is a
tripled.
global
Seen anything
concern.
like this before, not in our
is
lifetime.
now the epicenter of the
As this
outbreak
virus
in the United
continues to
States.
ravage nationwide
stay-at-home order.
What is this thing that has happened to us? Our minds are still racing back and forth, longing for a return to normality. Trying to stitch our future to our past and refusing to acknowledge the rupture.
COVID-19 surpassed persist until there's a vaccine.
And in the midst of this terrible despair, it offers us a chance to rethink the doomsday machine we have built for ourselves. Historically, pandemics have forced humans to break with the past and imagine their world anew. This one is no different. It's a portal, a gateway between one world and the next. We can choose to walk through it, dragging the carcasses of our prejudice and hatred, our avarice, our data banks and dead ideas, our dead rivers and smoky skies behind us. Or we can walk through lightly with little luggage, ready to imagine another world and ready to fight for it.
So yeah, so that's the one. I mean, we have choices are with us and we can choose. So on that note, I will come back to my presentation and take you to the next slide. Yeah. Yeah. Just give me a moment. Yeah. So in light of whatever is happening around, we need to look at what our families are looking at, which is very critical and important for us. So if you ask me, I mean, I can talk from my personal experience. Staying safe is very, very critical to everyone, and staying positive in thoughts and staying positive in our activities very critical and important. Stay strong. Strong is not necessarily like, building muscles and, pumping irons, but it's staying strong here. Yeah, mentally we all should stay strong. And in terms of one critical and important thing is staying home. I mean, again, I can share my personal experience. When wave one has taken a downward turn, all the colleges have opened, people started calling kids to college, and my daughter also has gone back to college. But there were, I mean, their group size is very small, but there were some cases that have reported, and immediately the director has taken a call to send back the kids. So though kids didn't want to come back home, but yeah, I can see a big smile on Janisha's face. Yeah, so they didn't want to come home, but it is safety is priority. So please, I mean, pay attention to that. We all need to stay positive, stay strong, stay together, stay home. I know it is very what I can say, congested in the house, like everyone is having their own little classes or office work going in each corner of the house, but we should be glad that we are staying together and we are safe and staying healthy. So that is what one thing which I want to actually emphasize, and I'm sure your families have been talking about this a lot with you all. And then am I not able to? Yeah. So in that light, and in terms of industry readiness, what we need to focus on, I mean, these are not the times where we can say, okay, I have a graduation degree, here I am, I can go out and start working. But what is happening is these are the unprecedented times, call for definitely more than a lot from all of us. What we need to focus on, I mean, when we talk about our industry readiness, our readiness to go into the market and work somewhere or face the challenges, as I said in the beginning of the call, I'm going to talk about these softer aspects of the personality that needs to be, because the academic related activities, your school is taking care of everything. Yeah. On the softer, from the industry, from my learnings, what I would sincerely advise you guys to be focusing on is this flexibility. Yeah, be flexible to take up things, be it in terms of doing certain things, be it in terms of learning, be it in terms of taking additional responsibilities. Show flexibility in your actions. Yeah, and be resilient. Yeah, be resilient. You have to show resilience in all the activities that you are performing. Yeah. So that's another piece which I would definitely want to advise. Agility, don't say again, I know this lady is a fitness enthusiast. She's only talking about flexibility, agility, and all these things. Agility, when I talk about agility in your actions, agility in your acceptance. When we do agility training in our regular fitness routine also, it is more on the physical agility. When I'm talking about agility here, it is about your mental agility, your agility to accept things and move on, agility to absorb things, agility to spread yourself and do different things. Yeah, that is the kind of agility I'm talking about. Adaptability, again, I mean, I am a economics graduate, I want to be an economist only, and then I want to, if I'm not getting that, sorry, I'm not going anywhere. Sorry, you have to be adaptable. Every opportunity that comes your way is going to teach you something. Please accept that as I mean, I can tell you that's my experience, that's been my experience. Be adaptable, be ready to accept, adapt, and move ahead. So that is one sincere advice to all of you. Don't be blocked that I want to be only this, I want to do only this, I will go only in this direction. No, every direction is going to give you some good learning. Then you can decide, I mean, whether I want to go this direction. Okay, maybe that direction is not good, I'll have to take a U-turn, or I'll have to take a left turn or a right turn in terms of your career. But adaptability is very, very critical and important, even otherwise, but in these times it's all the more important. Yeah. And last but not the least, emotional intelligence. I really advise, I mean, as I said in the beginning of the call itself, please all these topics, there is enough material on web. Please request you all to run, I mean, spend 15-20 minutes. There are some good speakers who actually talk about these things on YouTube. One name, and I mean, it's like I keep watching his videos a lot. Simon Sinek. Yeah, I really watch his videos, and they're very good. So they kind of you see, you may be having all these qualities within you, but these kind of addressing these kind of seeing these kind of videos, or attending to these kind of talks kind of gives you time to introspect, and also reflect, and take calculated and informed decisions in the future. Yeah, so this is my input for you guys in terms of your readiness for the industry when you come out of the college. And one more thing, maybe I've not added it here. Yeah, I have added empathy. These times call for a lot of empathy. I mean, it's empathy. Understand, it's not sympathy, it is empathy. Yeah, please be empathetic towards others when they are saying something. See, there is try to get the message out. Very, very important as you grow in your careers. These words may sound like only 6 bullet points here, but have a lot of depth in each of these points, and help you a lot when you actually step out of your colleges or step out into your working life. These things go a long way. I mean, we have learned it hard way in terms of our experiences, our day-to-day working. But believe me, these things really help you a lot. Yeah. So be empathetic towards people, towards situations. And then take decisions. Don't be judgmental when you are talking to someone. Show empathy, and then you take your decisions. So with that, I'm going to just touch upon these 3 points. World in 2021 and ahead, how is it going to be? It is going to be totally different, and these are the 3 critical, according to me, are the 3 critical areas that are going to play a big role in 2021. Yeah, so the way political changes, it's more like the politics is not happening between the leaders, but it is happening on the media and on the social media. Okay, so there are a lot of things that are happening. Be wary about those things that are going to be impacted. As I said, can I go ahead and talk? The host muted me. Okay, let's take 1 more minute is there. Let me just wind up quickly. Yeah, so transportation, that is going to be impacted, and the climate changes. Yes, you are seeing it all over the Janisha, you muted me or something? Okay. Okay. Let me complete. Yeah. So these are the things which are going to play very, very big role in terms of post-COVID era, I can say. These are the things that are going to impact all of us. So be wary about these things, and be conscious about the points which I have mentioned ahead. Be open, be alert, be more agile in terms of your actions and behaviors, and that's going to take you places. One last thing what I would suggest is please use your time wisely. Let's not get glued to social media, spend much of our time on social media. Use your time wisely. There are a lot of online courses that are available which come with a certification also. Some courses are coming with a small amount of fees. use your time, enhance your skill set, add to your skill set, and take it forward. Yeah, all the best to you. Thank you again for bearing with me. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am, for this lovely session, for telling us how COVID has impacted different industries, how they have overcome this all, and what we have to focus on in this time, and how to be productive. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank
I
you.
request Principal Ma'am to share a few words.
Yeah, a very pleasant good afternoon and a very secure and safe good afternoon to one and every body present here. Our speaker of today, Anu Madam, I just heard the last few words. Due to certain reasons, I could not attend. We were busy with all set of meetings
Can
going on
understand.
everywhere.
Yeah.
But I'm sure 121 participants and the students must have benefited immensely. And this is the need
I
of the
hope.
hour, that they need guidance as to what industry expects from the students, because all said and done, there is a lot of gap between the academia and the industry. So I'm sure your session would have been very much insightful and very much fruitful for our dear students. And my dear students, I hope you have taken good lessons from what ma'am has told me, and from tomorrow itself you start working. And very rightly she said that don't waste your time. Already a lot of time has gone, and even in the coming months, I don't think things are going to normalize so soon. Another 6 months at least. I am not disappointing you, but we have to be with the ground realities. So please utilize your time in scaling your skills, develop your own skill set. Of course, not through offline, but in online, a plethora of options are available. And madam must have told you what industry expects. Improve your communication skills, improve your technical skills, improve your knowledge, improve your language, your communication skills, and see where there is the opening, and do and put your best foot forward. So thank you, Madhura, for organizing and calling ma'am to this wonderful session. I hope we become
you.
offline, and then we can meet you, ma'am, and the students, because if when we have physical contact, that is much more impactful, I believe. Of course, online also. But once when the campus is open, then I'm sure, ma'am, one time you can come and address these students once again with
My
the
pleasure.
changing times and with the changing requirements. So students, there's always a silver lining, and sweet are the uses of adversity. So take out the best possible use of these adverse situations. That is what I would say. And be industry ready. Whatever help you need from college, our management is very proactive, very forthcoming. Whatever new things you think you require for upskilling yourself, whichever speaker, whatever facilities you want, we at K.E. Shroff College are all for students. हमारा एक dialogue रहता है, students हैं तो हम हैं. So my dear students, put up your demands, put up what you expect. Tell us what is lacking, what training, what skill sets you want we to train you, and we are always ready. Thank you so much, Madhura. Thank you, Anu ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much. Good luck, guys. Any queries, you can reach Madhura. She has my contact number, and even Janisha has my. Yes. Please feel free to connect with me. I am there available. Yeah. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for the
Thank
nice
you
words.
so much,
Yeah.
ma'am.
Bye.
Thank